Happy Thanksgiving, or if it's later, I just want you to know I'm grateful that you're here. If you are wanting to watch this, just know on YouTube, it's the first link is the video version. There's an audio version, but because we do so much of this with video and showing you, it's best if you can join in on the video version. If you're doing this through a podcast and you want to just listen, that's great as well. And then you can go back and review it. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit, about what we talked about a few weeks ago, which was the FAMILYSEARCH campaign roll-up test. But there's more. I have talked with an engineer, and there are some more amazing things that's part of this experiment. It's not all the way in full release yet, but you have the ability to use it to be able to help you find names, especially when you're struggling to say, where on my tree could I look for family? Where can I get a jump start? So I'm going to show you a little bit of that on the computer, and I'm hoping we can attach my phone and I can show you what's called the Together app. And the Together app is another fun way. You could download it on all of your teenagers' phones. And even those kids that, if you have your 11 or 12-year-old has a phone, it will help them to be able to reserve names on their own. It's a little bit more colorful than just going through the FAMILYSEARCH traditional app. So we're going to get started, and I'm going to share the screen, and here we go. Share entire screen. All right, so I want you to take note of this website. So if you're just listening, the easiest way to do that is do familysearch.org/en, which is for English, /campaign, which means it's still a lab, /temple-tools. So familysearch.org/en/campaign/temple-tools. It used to be called campaign roll-up test. It's no longer called that. And you need to be logged into your account. I'm going to refresh this page. Here we go. All right. So it says here at the top, when you're on that specific page, it says find temple opportunities in your tree, and you have the ability to share this page with anyone you know. So if you're a family history consultant, you can shoot this off to some of the members of your ward, your bishopric. You just click on this share page, and you can share it through Facebook, through Messenger, through Twitter, WhatsApp, line, or email. So if you were to do it through, let's just try the FAMILYSEARCH chat, which I don't know how many people do messages through there. And then you can just do a new message. So create a private chat. And it says, explore the latest tools to find temple opportunities to provide ordinances for your family. And then you just find the person's name in FAMILYSEARCH. So let's see. I could do Kathleen. And oops, I have two E's there. And I could see, if I had a friend Kathleen, I could do it to my husband. And there we go. I can send this to him, and we click send, and there we go. So that is one way you can share that. You can also use the family ordinance opportunities here, and you note that it says an experiment. So here on the left, and that will take you to basically what we called the campaign roll-up test when we did a few weeks ago. Now, this is the funnest little tip that actually one of our, viewers shared with us. And when I messaged the developer and one of the developer's engineers, and I said, why isn't this more visible? And they just haven't worked on this part yet because it's still in process of being perfected. But if you look at these temple doors, somebody figured out if you click on it, it will take you to a new page. It'll tell you remaining temple ordinances for people you've already helped. So this is from your completed ordinances list. If you go to temple up here at the top and it says completed, it's the same place. But what it does here, instead of just saying, let me take you to that for a second. So if I go here to completed, I just get this kind of a list. So it'll say Ida Petrina Johan's daughter. She was sealed to her parents the 25th of November. But if I go back here, remaining temple ordinances, it searches through that whole list. And then it gives me some suggestions of people that I can go to, and I could either reserve. So like this one, you can see everything's done on her, and I don't know why it says reserve. So let's just test it out. I clicked on reserve, And maybe there's somebody in her family that needs work. So she's all done. Oh, it's interesting. So this one, it was already done. So there could be duplicate parents in here. So I would want to go through and see if I could figure out what the problem was. So it can also help you find places that you might need to fix some things, edit. So then when I go down here, I can see Niels Thomason is ready to be sealed to his spouse. So what I like to do is I like to make sure the spouse is done. So I could click reserve. And when I go in, we will see, so we see all of these were completed. And there's his spouse, Alice. I could click on her name here. And I can see actually she's waiting for her endowment to be done. So then that gives me somebody to do an endowment for, and then I could come back and do their sealing. So I could request these. They've been shared with the temple because of this little clock. And then I could then focus on this one family to have a completion, because that's our whole goal, is we want sealed, completed families. Another way you can look at it, if you didn't just click on the name there, you can go to the details page and you can look at the family, which I always recommend. So you could click on Alice here and you can see the same view that we saw before, but then you could look at the children. Do I need to do anything on the children? She's ready to be sealed to her spouse. That's also been shared with the temple. Anna Britta looks like it's blue, which probably means I have it. And I've shared it with the temple. And it must have been printed, I guess. Let's see, did it say? Oh, it was this one. So it's not printed, but it has been shared with the temple. So I could pull it back and do that endowment if I wanted. And then Johann, he's all completed. So do you see how this gives you a clue of a family that you can work on and get completed? There's enough work here you could do, maybe get it done in a month, more shorter, or take it a little bit longer depending on how often you go to the temple. So that's one idea of how you can use that. So you can also come down here and you can see, so these are the ones that are shared with the temple with the little clock. I can see that there's a sealing to spouse here for Berta. And when I click on her, everything's done up to the sealing to spouse. So then I could choose that. So do you see how I can scroll? Look at all these people that it just helped me just like that. Find, I like this. If I have a little bit more time, this is a great way to go and see if you can get an entire family done. Ordinances Ready is really great for just on the go. You're just like, I need something and I'm going to go. The other thing about this is this allows you to reserve more than just for like 4 baptisms, because sometimes it'll only print 4 baptisms or only 1 endowment. You can come in here and you can reserve multiple. Once you reserve them, they will go back up here to your temple and they will be under my reservations. All right, let's go back here to the family ordinances. Actually, I'm going to go back to that other page. Let me see if I can minimize this. Let's close that one out. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this one, so now we're back on that main page. So just a reminder, this is familysearch.org/en/campaign/temple-tools. So we clicked on this family ordinance opportunities button here. And then this one is ordinances for families in your tree. So we can click on that one. And then this one is discover an opportunity to serve a family member in your tree. So this is not necessarily somebody that you did work for, but it's somebody that they found in your tree. And you can see, so the parents, all of the ordinances are complete for the father and the mother. Do you see how this app through Family Search is now allowing you to focus on an entire family getting completed? So then we've got the children. So it says the next ordinance for Johann Elof, he was a baby, is sealing to parents, and nobody has reserved that. So look at this. Let's click on him for a second. And if I go in here, I can see that he doesn't have any sources, which I would love to get sources. I do know that these are exact dates for birth, death, burial. So I feel very comfortable about that, but I can also click on Ancestry if I have an Ancestry account. And if you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you can have a free account. And if you aren't sure how to do that, you scroll down here to the bottom and go to Solutions Gallery. We're going to take a little detour for a second for those that don't have their free accounts. And you will see here access to top genealogical resources. If you're signed into your LDS account, you have the ability to get each Ancestry, My Heritage, Find My Past, American Ancestors, GeniaNet, Philae, and Storied all for free. So if you don't have those, I recommend you get those. So now we're back here on Johann Elof. So what I would do, I'd click on Ancestry. Ancestry has a lot of Swedish records. And while it's loading, 5 November 1875 in Tosho. And here he is, 5 November 1875. There's an actual record. So I feel very good about doing his work. I could go through and I could find his death record potentially from here. Here's the death index. And here it looks like this may be his death. So I come in here and I would see 25 November 1875. I think that's what that was. Death, where'd the death go? And that was a 14th of May. So for our purposes, I'm not going to go through that right this minute, but that's what I would do. I would go see if I could verify for sure one of these dates. If I can verify all of them, it'd be awesome. You can also click on My Heritage. Let's see if he shows up on My Heritage. So somebody may have a tree for him. There may be a death record on there. And this is the Family Search tree, so I'm going to skip that. And here is a death from this Mats Rosengren. So it sounds like he's from Sweden. He's got a tree on there, and that matches. This one is a different date and in a different place, you can see. So just know those are some tips as far as verifying. You always want to make sure you have one source attached. So I will do that after this video. I will go in and figure that out. So let's look at his sister, Gerda Charlotta Olsdotter. Her next ordinance is sealing to spouse. So if I click on her, and you see it takes me into the person's page. Let me scroll down. So she has two sources, and she's married to an August Eriksson. And the sealing to spouse needs to be done, but he is in process. It looks like it's reserved by the Sigostiston at Wheeler. And so at this point, I could, by church policy, you can take a name and seal it before all of the other work is done. I prefer to wait until the rest of the work is done and then do that. But if I'm like, really want to reserve this sealing, and I'm hoping that he'll do this the next 120 days, I can take it from the temple queue, put it in my, temple reservations, and then I could save it. I'm not going to do that on Gerda right now. And then I can scroll through and I can see on this family, once these two are done and this guy's in progress, all of the ordinances will be complete for this family. And then I can also see the relationship. So here's the relationship. My first cousin, 5 times removed. So that's really cool. Sorry, I clicked through that too fast. And then I can scroll down and here's another one. The Olsen family. This is on my father's side. If I click on this, it says there's one ordinance available. So what I can see is Hannah down here, she actually had some information. She had a christening date. So all of a sudden I get an idea. I need to look for a birth date. And then if I scroll down a little more, what I noticed was her father just said deceased. And then what are you noticing right here? So we have Inger Solomonsdottir and Inger Solomonsdottir. They each have different IDs. So this is GMC 8, TM7, and this is 27TS DFF. So I need to merge those two together. And then I can see that this Nils Olsen, there's a couple of things I want you to note. CYV is the end of his and CYV. So this one is the same guy. This is different. So I'm just going to walk you through. If you haven't done a lot of merging, let's walk through this and see what happens. My goal is that I could then end up finding information on his birth, or a death, so that his work, his sealing to spouse could be, I don't know why the sealing to spouse is showing yellow, because we do have a marriage date. When you have a marriage date, you usually do, but maybe it's because it wants a birth date. So what we're going to do for Inger is this one has the date. I always look to see if there's one that just says deceased. I will copy that ID number. And the way you do that is you click on the ID of the one that you want archived. So this is the one that's going to go behind and be hidden. And we'll take any information from it if it has something. So I click on that and you can see it says ID copied up here. Then I'm going to click on Inger Solomon's daughter and I can see that all of these are gray. That means that work has been done. And then I can click on her name and it'll take me to her person page, or I can click on person. So now that I'm on this page, then I can scroll down and you can see that the computer did not put a possible duplicate in this box. Sometimes if there's some differences and it can't tell, it doesn't pull it up. So we're going to help it. We copied that ID and then we're going to say merge by ID. So once you've clicked on merge by ID, then you can do Control C or Control V for paste. Control C is copy, Control V is paste, or if it's a Mac, it's Command C or Command V. So I'm going to do Command V, continue, and now I get this information here. And so it says here, warning, another user has marked these people as not a match. So from what I looked at in that quick view, it looked like they were matched. So let's see why they might have thought this was not a match. So we've got an Inger Solomon's daughter, married to a Niels Olson, and that matches. And I mean, it's not a lot of information, but then the daughter Hannah is in both trees. So I would say, and if I click on this Hannah, I always do that, 2nd of August, 1805. Then I come over here and click on, oops, this little arrow opens out of it, closes it. I click on this Hannah, exact same name. So I feel very comfortable in merging these two. So I'm going to scroll down and I say merge. And then I will choose. So the first and last names match. She didn't have a birth date in both of them, so I'm not going to put that. I didn't see parents matching on that. Let's see. Yep, parents did match. And children match. And spouse matched. And if I had another reason, I could type that in there and I'll say submit. All right, so now that that's been merged, then my next goal on this family is to look at each person. Niels, I need to find a birth date. That is missing, and I may be able to find it just by clicking on Ancestry or My Heritage. Let's look at the daughter. So Inger, she's all been done. Anders is done. Elna's done. And Hannah is almost done. So I really want to look at all these people that are done. I really want to focus on finding Niels Olson so that I can get his work done. So I'll just show you a really quick little glimpse. So Inger, and I don't know when she died. This is in 1783. I don't know if she'll pop up, but I'm just going to show you a little glimpse into Archive Digital, which is a Swedish website. And if you have Swedish ancestry, let me know if you would like me to do a little tutorial on how to use it. But we don't even have an exact birth date for her, and it's possible that there's records for this place. So I'm going to copy. If I highlight this with my mouse and I do Command C or Control C, I'm going to go, this is my little Archive Digital. I'm going to duplicate it. So this is Archive Digital. It is a great website. You can see this was a fun one I saw where a little child had drawn pictures page after page. See if I can find another one. Oh yes, look at this one. So fun to see. This is in the 1800s. These little children were drawing. So I've bookmarked it so that I will not forget because it's really fun to go back to. So this is Archive Digital, and I can actually go into the Swedish church books, find the information. So I'm just going to see if I can find an Inger Solomon's daughter. So this is an index search. So I do Inger Solomon's. I'm going to have a better luck with Hannah and her birth date. Let's go back to, I hope you're okay with this detour. Now if I can figure out which window I was in. There we are. So their daughter Hannah was born 2nd of August, or she was christened August 1805. So, and it's in Yarnarp. So we're going to just put 1805, Hannah 1805, and then paste that Yarnarp. So it could be Hannah without an H. So I'm going to click this approximative search. Click search, and actually once you click that box, it just automatically searches for you. So let's look and see when she was christened again. Oh, where did that go? christened in August, so she's probably born the end of July. So we'll see if there's a July. There's actually this 1st of August. That's probably her. I'm going to click on that. And there's a father, Anders Nielsen. That was not our father, I don't think. Let's go back here. Niels Olsen is her father. So then we'll come back in here, and I'm going to look for another one. Here's another Hannah. That's a little later. And here's the Hannah Niels daughter. And let's click on that and see if she's still living with family. Looks like this one is living in, she was born in this Licorna, so it's probably not ours. I don't want to spend a lot of time searching. I will show you just a little bit what this household record looks like. But this is what I would do. I would come in here and I would look through and find this family. So here we go. This isn't her family, but it gives you a father, a mother, a son, and 2 daughters with their birth years. So super fabulous. All right, so we're going to come back here. Here's Hannah. So you can see I've looked at this family, I've analyzed it, and we're focusing on getting that whole family together. All right, let's go back to, so I've got a couple of people that I can work on, but just know that you can keep scrolling down. See, there's a see more, but I've got a Hansen family, a Larson family, and I can see one ordinance available, one ordinance. I can analyze that family and see what I can find. All right, so I'm going to close those out so I don't have quite so many windows open, and I will come back and check them out. All right, so this is back on, review one more time, this FamilySearch.org/en campaign/temple tools. So remember, if you just want to go in and look at the experiment and look at your fan chart and go for the descendants of one of your relatives, you can come here. We'll show you one more time. You can click on this little temple and that'll show you some more ideas, or you can explore more ordinances tools and it takes you back here. Then you can also scroll down and go by individual. So you can click on this temple opportunities button. And let's see, there's a little overview. I'm going to say no thanks right now. So this gives you an idea of some of my relatives that need something completed. So it's another place to find relatives that need their work done. And then it gives you an idea, especially if you've got new converts. This is a great place to come to about how to make an appointment, print the family name card, take the card with you to the temple, and then you can click on this to go to your reservations. And then down here, we've got a quote from President Monson. And then here's some frequently asked questions about reserving ordinances and how is this different than ordinances ready. Let's click on that one. So this activity searches your family tree to serve your deceased relatives. Ordinances ready by comparison looks at your reservation list, your tree, and ordinances shared with the temple by members of the church, beginning with your own family, your ward, and stake. So these are, and this also allows you to reserve more than one ordinance at a time. So you can have up to 3 ordinances, rows of entries of reservations in your tree. I recommend that you have as much as you can do in maybe a 3-month window, and then share the rest with the temple unless they're really, really close to you. All right, and let's see what else I wanted to share with you. This is another experiment, remaining temple ordinances for people you've already helped. Let's see if that's that same one. So this is actually a different one. So there's a lot of different places that you can go to find people that need their work done. So here I can filter by ordinance. So these are from this is similar to what we just saw earlier, the completed ordinances list. So I can filter it by, if I want to do, let's say I want to do initiatory. And it brought one initiatory that's ready to go. I could do it by endowment. And I have 17 that are ready to go. You can see the gray means it is good to go. So remember, you can get to this by clicking on the FamilySearch.org/en campaign/ and this is remaining -ordinances. So, but you can get to it through the main site that we talked about in the beginning. All right, we are almost done with sharing this. And this one, if you are a leader or you're married to a leader, this family name assist allows you, or you're a family history consultant, this allows you to help new and returning members immediately have a name to take to the temple, whether they have a Family Search account or not. So we can talk about this at another time, but just know that this is available. I'm also going, and you can play around with this as you get onto this. And then down here below, there's some where it's missing information that you can work on. So we'll click on that. And I'm going to say no thanks for a minute. So here it says ordinances for your relatives are almost ready. So this one you need to find out if it's a male or a female. This one says it's ready. And that's all that it's showing for me right now on that one. And let's scroll down here. Then record hints. These are hints that once you add them, they may help you be able to find more work. So if you click on this, this is similar to what you will see on your front page, but it's giving me some Norway church books, some Swedish books and there's 20 more. Wow. It'll tell me how to attach a record hint. So if you need a review, it will walk you through that. And you can click on this, learn more about the source linker, and it will give you what's new in it, basically how it's formatted. So we've talked a little bit about this, but if you need a refresher, this will show you how to do this in a very simple format. And then if you have any questions, down here at the bottom are the people in your ward who are consultants that you can reach out to. So this is really cool. And the fact that it says see 20 more is really awesome. And I can look at a grid view or a list view. So I can see it this way. So I can see there's a lot of Swedish and Norwegian that I have work to do on. It's never ending. It really is. Let's make sure we've covered everything on this. And then also we've talked about the AI Research Assistant. This is where you can click on it and get it started on your tree if you haven't already done that. And if you don't know what that is, we covered this in a previous podcast. And so you could go back to that. And then also here's ordinances ready. If you just want to select an ordinance and just go for it because that's all you have time for, that's right there. And that is the temple ordinances. I think what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Together app next week. This is fabulous. So download the app. It's in your app store. It's called the Together app and it's purple. And we will talk about that next week. And then we will get back to AI. And then we will have some fun things to share with you. I am going to be going to some of the Slovakian countries. I'm going to be in Czechoslovakia and Poland, Hungary, Austria. And I will share some of those things. If you've got family from those areas, even if you don't, please join because we will be talking about some things that are pertinent to everyone, especially in regards to records that aren't available online, but the reason why you need to go and travel to the area where your family is from, if at all possible. And if not, there are people that will go and do some service like billion graves, which is what my husband and I like to do. So let me stop sharing. And if I discover any more fun things on this app, I definitely will share that with you in an upcoming podcast. I do want to share, we did have somebody that has shared a message. They just said, I've lost confidence in the MyHeritage apps. They always seem to be redundant with each other. I need help understanding how to use these apps to find info about information. So I don't know if that's talking specifically about the app or just the website, but we will talk about MyHeritage coming up probably in January. It could be a little bit later in the month because actually MyHeritage, we may talk about it in December, because MyHeritage is based in Israel. And so they have a huge European database, especially a lot of European trees. So I find a lot of my Norwegian trees on there, people that are adding them that are relatives. And so we can talk about having confidence in what you find. You always want to look at everything that's been added by a human with a little bit of skepticism until you can see an original source. And just know that there's multiple places to look. Another thing that I would love to share with you is the magic of newspapers. So we'll put that down. Send me a message if you would like to learn more about the amazing things that you can find in newspapers. So thank you so much for joining. If you're having a happy Thanksgiving Day, I hope that you get to take a nap, maybe eat a little pumpkin pie, but most importantly, spend time with your family. It's the most amazing thing to gather those on the other side of the veil. but it's even more wonderful to have the opportunity to be with our families here on earth. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.